What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've been asked a lot on stream what professions I'm going on my rogue, what professions are best for rogues, and pretty much like just everything you need to know about professions specifically for rogues going into TBC. So today, hopefully this will be decently quick. I'm going to break down all of the perks of every profession that really matters the most to rogues, and as well let you know what I'm going on my rogue and why. So with that being said, let's dive right in. Really fast, to start things off, let's go with the professions that are like the gold farming professions, the gathering professions. So let's say mining and herbalism. You can see that I'm in one of the instances in the Ochdon Crypts area, or the Ochdon area. I'm in Manitoums right now. And as a rogue, the gold farms within dungeons is a thing. So I will show you on screen that you can go around within these dungeons and pick these mining nodes. You can pick herbing nodes. There's also chests in there. This is a really good way to make gold, mainly because herbs and ore can basically always be a consistent income stream for you, and there's always going to be kind of the issue, especially with TBC and with the character boosts, of how much you can farm out in open world because of bots. Let's just address it really fast at the beginning. Bots are going to be a thing, we already know. So that means that herbs and mining will be a pretty solid gold farm for you, and it's something that you can do all by yourself. Go in and get a couple nodes per run, reset, and just keep doing that. If you want to have an alt, basically a rogue, to help you make some gold, it is a pretty solid run. Although tailoring still is a very good way to make gold, basically because you're just using your CDs and selling things. A lot of people are running with a bunch of tailoring alts, but if you want to do something on your rogue, specifically mining and herbing can be very useful. With that, I guess let's talk about skinning. So skinning, the other gathering profession, if you want to be skinning, it's very easy because there's a ton of mobs out in the world that are beasts or skinnable, and there's even things in dungeons and stuff like that. But skinning, I would actually expect to be hard botted again. That's the other one that will be most likely botted. Everyone, unless drum changes happen, we might be forced to kind of go with leatherworking, and we'll address that next. So if that is a thing, then obviously a lot of people are going to be buying the materials for leatherworking. I would be kind of cautious about this if you choose to go skinning to make gold. Just know that potentially the market might be kind of overflowed. Not exactly sure if it's going to happen yet, but we'll find out. Moving on with leatherworking, we obviously know the differences with now drums and greater drums coming into the game, where you have stronger drums in Zul'Aman being released, and we're not seeing a tinnitus debuff in the game yet. So to get the haste buff from drums and have 100% uptime, you need 4 people in your party to run drums. Potentially one of those is the shaman if they choose to be, but you're going to kind of need to figure this out beforehand if you were going to go with this whole like little min-max strategy of always having drums up. And then you'll also need to stay near your party. So if you have to do that, you're almost forced for PvE to go leatherworking. And that is purely the reason really to go leatherworking. You also can make the armor kits for legs, the enchants, but this will be a decent gold farm, potentially, but not really like the best gold farm. So leatherworking is useful there. There's also a couple pre-bis items from leatherworking, the fell leather gloves and the fell leather boots. So the fell leather gear is your pre-bis for leatherworking, for raiding, and it comes from leatherworking. The only thing that doesn't really change much for you though is they're just BOE, so you don't need to be a leatherworker to get these, and then you're actually gonna replace them as you move into Karazhan. And I wouldn't be too insanely focused on pre-bis personally, because phase 4 or tier 4 content won't be really that much of a challenge, most likely, so you're gonna kind of blow through it. Next up is Enchanting, and Enchanting is something that's very useful for you as a rogue. Particularly, it's very useful for every class. Technically, it's like BIS, especially for PvP, to get the Enchanting ring enchants. And this for you will give you +4 stats to each ring, which is +8 stats. That gives you obviously the stamina, but also giving you attack power with the strength and attack power and crit with the agility. So A lot of min-maxers will, every time they get BIS rings, and a lot of people for PvP too, when they get BIS rings, will drop whatever profession they had before, level enchanting, enchant their rings, and then drop that again and move on to back to whatever they were using before. So you should be ready if you want to min-max to the highest level to level enchanting quite a few times, or you could just keep enchanting. And the other thing, because you can make some gold off of getting some rare enchants for sure. And the other thing though about enchanting is really deciding if it's worth it for you to have these extra stats. It is definitely very min-maxy, but they're very nice to have for PvP, so it will increase things for you a little bit. Then we're gonna move on to Alchemy. Now, Alchemy, there's two things you really gain out of this. One, you can make your own potions, flasks, elixirs, and so it's very useful in this sense. And then the second thing is you really do get the transmutes. So you can get your transmutes, and then that can be just passive income for you where you're consistently making gold. The haste potions are something you're gonna be using pretty much on cooldown. There's a 2-minute CD, and if you're min-maxing or if you're pumping in raids, you're literally using this on CD. So do know that you're going to be using a lot of consumables moving into TBC, even though you only have a battle elixir and a guardian elixir, and a flask takes up both of those. So you don't have to worry about all of the potions you're using kind of now, but you are using a specific potion, and that is going to be the haste pot. And that's really the advantage of going alchemy, other than the passive gold farm. But a huge one for rogues is going to be blacksmithing. And I've talked about this before in my TBC professions guide. Dragon Maw is BIS for pretty much every melee class, and it's actually gonna be BIS for you until TK, and you can even upgrade it there. So like the entire phase, technically for PvE, this is your BIS weapon. It is comparable to Gladiator Slicer. It's slightly better for PvE and basically the same for PvP. Why would you choose to go Dragon Maw instead and level up all the way Blacksmithing instead of just getting Gladiator Slicer from arenas? Because you don't need an arena rating to get the arena weapons. The main reason is if you get the weapon early, Dragon Maw, then you don't have to spend all of your first pieces of arena points on the weapon, right? Definitely not on your main hand weapon, at least for sure. So why is that huge? It's actually huge so you can get the set bonuses from your arena gear as fast as possible. So for people that are hard focused on PvP, this is a very, very solid choice because they can get a weapon right away and then be hard focused on their arena gear instead of being hard focused on first off getting their weapon and getting some arena set bonuses. Also, you're gonna get like your 2 set bonus from the blue gear also like right away. So focus on doing that. And then from Karazhan, there's also a sword, Spike Blade, that is pretty much the same. So from Karazhan, go get Spike Blade. You could, if you guys are full clearing Karazhan like right away, which I highly anticipate a lot of guilds and pugs even to be doing, you could actually put your efforts towards Spike Blade. And I personally am looking towards getting Spike Blade instead of going after Dragon Maw. But if you're not really going to be raiding that much, you can look at getting Dragon Maw. I just personally am going to hope to get Spike Blade early so that I can focus my arena points somewhere else. Blacksmithing is a big one. Engineering. Now, engineering was pretty much a go-to for every raider in Classic World of Warcraft. And the main reason for that was sapper charges. Now, you do have sapper charges and grenades still, and these can help you do extra AoE damage in raids. So sapper charges are going to be very nice actually for extra AoE damage in raids for you. And grenades also very good for utility, also incredible for world PvP and also battlegrounds. You can't use them in arenas, know that right now. The big thing from engineering is going to be the engineering helmets, and those are basically tier 2 plus equivalent. Tier 5 plus equivalent, and these things are amazing. The only thing is, apparently there's been interviews where Blizzard has said they should be in the game from launch, but they're not currently in the game right now in beta, so if they're not in the game, then this isn't really a reason to go engineering. There is two other reasons though to go engineering. So the first reason really is the mote extractor. So the mote extractor will let you go around, find gas clouds. You can fly around with the flying mount you can even make from engineering if you wanted, and get the motes there, which will then give you primals. So this is another draw of engineering. It is also a gathering profession now in TBC, and you can make some gold off of that. Another really big thing is actually for PvP, the engineering belt, nigh invulnerability belt that protects you for 4,000 damage for 8 seconds. It's a 5-minute CD, so it's usable in arenas. This thing is pretty crazy. So this is like the main reason to go engineering early on, and then you would go engineering for season 2 when they launch for the helms. You'll use the engineering helm for season 2, and then season 3 you'll go to the tier 6 helm. So if they don't have helms in at launch, you don't need to go engineering. But if engineering helms are in at launch, I would highly suggest, if you're a PvPer and anything else even, because it's gonna be your BIS, to go engineering for the engineering helm. Last up that I wanna talk about today is Jewelcrafting, and Jewelcrafting is very, very useful if you are going into PvP. Now, for one very specific reason, if you're focused on PvP, and that is the figurine Knight's Eye Panther. This is the blue one, not the epic one. The epic one isn't launched yet, but this one is in the game right now, at least from what we can see and from what we can buy. It's at the vendor. So increases your effective stealth level by 1, gives you 54 attack power passive, and on use 320 attack power. Most rogues will go with Bloodlust Brooch as their trinket, their first trinket. You can also go after Dragonspine Trophy and see if you have enough gold to buy that in a GDP, or your guild gives that to you over Hunter. But if you're focused on PvP, the increasing your effective self level is really the big advantage here. This is huge for the sole sake of getting the opener in PvP, and especially in season 1, but in PvP situations can be like the game. If you can get the opener, that can pretty much be the game. And if you don't know what you're gonna be running with comp wise, like if you're not running with a Warlock, it's gonna be very, very advantageous to you to have a higher stealth level, so that you can find enemy rogues before they can find you. If you have a Warlock, you also have an increased stealth level, and you have increased stealth detection, which is super nice. And then also when the goggles come out, there you go. So this is actually something that's extremely nice, and it lets you focus your badges of justice on something else instead of getting Bloodlust Brooch right away. If you do have Slayer's Crest also, you don't have to get Bloodlust Brooch first. You can go for the neck, the Choker of Vile Intent, from your badges of justice instead of going straight after Bloodlust Brooch. So with that being said, I kind of covered everything I wanted to. Hopefully, let me know if I forgot anything in the comments. But what am I going on my rogue? Personally, I am starting out with Jewelcrafting and potentially engineering. I'm hoping that the helmets do get patched in, but if they don't, then I'm looking towards the belt. But if I'm forced for PvE to go leatherworking, then I would go leatherworking, right? So the reason why I'm not going blacksmithing, but I highly suggest most people go blacksmithing, is because I think that I'm gonna get Spike Blade early, and I'm hoping that's a thing, kind of putting it out there. But I did wait like 5 months for the first Perdition's Blade to drop for me, so maybe that's never gonna happen. If that doesn't happen, I'm early enough, then I'm definitely dropping and going to blacksmithing. So those are your big choices, and that's what I'm going on my rogue. If you want to farm gold, you can go the passive route, and you can go into dungeons and just stealth around and farm gold all you want. You can also pickpocket as you walk through and make some extra gold, kind of actually find some rare items. Sometimes on higher level mobs, there's like a BOE epic dagger you could find, which would be awesome. And so going the professions like mining and herbalism can be very useful there. And then if you are gonna be just focused on PvE, leatherworking and getting the drums probably is your best bet, and your other one is kind of open to you. With that, I'll wrap things up. That's pretty much everything you need to know as a rogue going into TBC for professions, and it'll just kind of give you the opportunity to make the choices for yourself. My name is Sarthe, of course. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be covering a lot of rogue content, pretty much going to be trying to cover everything I can for rogues, and also mostly focus kind of on PvP. Of course, you can check me out on Twitch as well. If there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys all on the next one. Peace.